Is it time to start taking the Bengals seriously?
I think so. I mean, before this game, I was well aware that the Ravens aren't as good as we think they are. I think the Ravens won a lot of close games, and the Ravens were dealing with a lot of injuries, and what it boiled down to was Lamar being incredible. So I don't want to detract from this win because the Ravens did give the Chargers more than they could handle. So I think the Bengals deserve some credit, but I think the Ravens' record is better than the Ravens actually are. So it's a weird spot that I'm in. And I said this before the game. It's like, if they beat the Ravens, we're going to be like, oh, this is awesome. They beat the Ravens. But also, the Ravens have a ton of holes. And Jamar Chase was running through all of them in the secondary, including Marlon Humphrey, who is one of the solid portions of their defense.
Yeah, no, Gojo, yeah. On Friday, like Dominique said all this on the record. I said if the Bengals beat the Ravens, fill in the blank, I said I'd probably chalk it up to the randomness of football. But then you watch Joe Burrow, do the thing where he gets Jamar Chase more receiving yards through 7 games than anybody else in NFL history. And you're like, okay, this blowout kind of makes me seriously reconsider the flippancy with which I dismissed Cincinnati.
Yeah, I will say this. I think we have to be careful calling this a blowout because you would think it was that way the entire game, and it wasn't. Like, this came down to basically 3 plays in the second half. This was a close game for the vast majority of the game, and then you had 3 guys miss tackles against Jamar Chase on the big play that we talked about in all of this. You had a blown coverage on the Uzomah touchdown, and then you had John Harbaugh inexplicably, Dominique, maybe you're like you and the smart people can explain this to me. I am all for fourth down aggressiveness. Going for it on 4th and 9 with like 11 and a half minutes left in the fourth quarter in the way that they did seemed like another one of those spots where now we open up the blowout faucet and things get weird in a way that I don't think is indicative of how close those teams actually are.
So 2 things that I need to bring attention to is Pablo and I both, when we go full screen, there's a hiccup. Like, we both went full screen, and, like, we're talking, and then we see that they switch it to full screen, and we both do, like, a little hiccup before we jump back into our take.
Exactly like that.
Yes, just like that. And Gojo doesn't get any full screen because he won't pay his internet bill. They won't put him on full screen because it's too choppy. I'm assuming that's why. Or maybe they just don't want to go full screen on
Dominique,
Gojo.
They closed the internet faucet in the Golic Jr. household.
I want you guys to play with full screen Gojo.
Please Venmo me. I'm so things poorly right now. My parents cut me off.
Yeah, the Bengals are good at football too. Yeah, I mean, the defense contained Lamar to the degree that you can contain Lamar. He was off target on some deep shots. Like, I rewatched that game this morning, and he had some shots that he could have hit, but he's very dependent on Hollywood, which is, I don't know, Hollywood is good, but he also is bad sometimes. So, like, that seems like an issue. Now that Bateman's healthy, I'd like to see them throw it his direction a little bit more. But I'm not worried about the Ravens because I think my expectations for their season dropped dramatically in the preseason when it seemed like all their players were also dramatically dropping. So right now they're playing above their head. If they can make the playoffs with this, that'll be an achievement. If they lose in the first round, people are going to say, like, Lamar can't play in the playoffs because
that's right. No, I was going to say the Ravens have the worst pass defense in the entire league, and guess who's going to be blamed for it? Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, we're headed in that course. We're not going to celebrate how somehow he built a running game around himself without any running backs, a passing game without his star tackle, and without very many receivers, and managed to outscore a number of offenses despite the fact that their defense is down a corner and their defense likes to blitz a lot. And so if they make the playoffs, it should be a celebration of Lamar Jackson, but that's not what's going to happen. What's up, Allie?
So we've barely talked about Jamar Chase, who is awesome. Will anyone say any hot takey thing, some proclamation, so we can make some news on this show? Jamar Chase is the next.
Oh yeah, well, hold on. No. I was looking at the stats, guys, preparing for this.
Nice.
Jamar Chase's first 7 games in the NFL are like 7 times better than Jerry Rice's first 7 games in the NFL. Jamar Chase better than Jerry Rice. Eat it.
I thought you were gonna say Randy Moss. So is Randy Moss better than Jerry Rice?
I have to do my own research on that.
I was just wondering.
Before I impugn a guy who I might run into at the seaport one day.
I was just wondering if Jamar Chase is the greatest of all time. That's what I was wondering, because people tend to say
he is. He's the greatest of all time.
Jerry Rice is the GOAT, and you're saying Jamar Chase is better than Jerry Rice. So, yeah, that Penei Sewell thing, I'm looking back on that hot take, regretting that, because I was one of the many.
Yeah, Gojo, where are you on
I have no regrets on that, all right? None. T. Higgins has been very productive as well for them, all right? Tyler Boyd does a great job in that receiving room there. And you can't tell me that Joe Burrow couldn't still use a little extra added protection. The Ravens got home plenty in that game. And, by the way, in all this, Jamar Chase is the easy lock for Rookie of the Year. Rashawn Slater is still alive and breathing, all right? And just because he doesn't have your precious stats that you can throw in your face here for all you nerds that can only read numbers, I'm going to be over here with broke-ass internet rooting for the big guy to go win that award.
Man, we had a lot of Alabaster today. I'm not sure how I feel about this.
I love it. I'm in. Alabaster heat checking.
I have a question for you, Gojo. How many touchdowns does Rashawn Slater have this year?
All of them.
Wow.
All of them. He was on the field for all of them. Oh, that wasn't for me?
Charlie, you know what they do, Alabaster, is on the bios for offensive linemen and the media guides, because there aren't cool stats for them, they put the stats for the entire offense. They say he was a part of an offense that paved the way for a 1,000-yard rusher or a 4,000-yard passer. They get credit for everything because they're selfless and they care about their teammates. How about that?
Hold on. They get credit for everything because they're selfless. I'm not sure that's how that sentence should end.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.